Kia ora. As we head through the rest of this afternoon, you can see there's plenty of clear sky on the satellite picture. And for many of us, it's a fine looking end today for Tuesday. And most of that clear weather stays with us through in towards Wednesday as well. For this afternoon, plenty of sunshine across the patch from the Northland right the way down most of the Southland. A touch more cloud down the far southern parts. And you can see we have got the next lot of rain just edging in towards the likes of Fiordland by the end of the night. Might find a few pockets of mist forming up towards the likes of, say, Hamilton as we go in towards the early part of the day on Wednesday. But generally, it's a dry looking end to the day, and for many of us, it's a dry start to the day on Wednesday as well. High pressure builds across the top of the country out towards the Northland. Rainfall feeds on towards that western coast. Some heavy falls to watch out for through Westland and Fiordland, and some of that rain feeds across in towards the east as well for parts of Southland and Otago by the end of the day, and some stronger winds as well around the likes of Stewart Island and the coastal parts of Southland and Otago. Something to watch out for as we head towards the end of the day on Wednesday and through in towards that first part of Thursday. There are some severe weather watches and even a warning in place for that rainfall through parts of Western, particularly those areas south of Harry and north of George Sound. We are going to keep hold of some heavy rainfall, as much as 80 to 120 millimetres about the tops of the ranges as we go through the daytime on Wednesday. But the rain moves north, so it will clear away from, say, the afternoon, evening time from those southern parts. We also have a heavy rain watch out for the rest of Fiordland, and the watch out for those stronger winds around the likes of Stewart Island, Southland, and in towards Clutha for later in the day from around about 4 o'clock on Wednesday through in towards those early hours of Thursday morning. Rainfall gusts could be as much as, say, 90 kilometres an hour with those west or southwesterly winds. But up in the far northern parts of the country, it's a fine looking day. A few pockets of early fog, but generally a fine looking story across the top of the Northland, and a fine looking afternoon as well. Temperatures up to around about 21, 22 degrees Celsius, perhaps a touch more cloud pushing through towards the end of the day and towards the evening through southern parts, through the central parts, of, say, the Bay of Plenty. For southern parts of the Northland, again, plenty of dry weather, a touch more cloud from, say, New Plymouth down towards the Carpley coast through the morning, being pushed in by these westerly winds, a touch more of a breeze through there as well. But generally, it's a dry day and plenty of fine weather and some decent spells of afternoon sunshine as well, especially on this more eastern part of our patch out towards the Wairarapa and even in towards Wellington. A fine looking afternoon, just with a touch more of that northerly with us as we head in towards the afternoon. For the top of the Southland, again, plenty of dry weather through Nelson, Marlborough and down through Canterbury. We might find a touch more in the way of stronger winds in through parts of the Canterbury High Country later on. But the dry weather lasts through in towards the afternoon, and there's plenty of sunshine as well, even up in towards Nelson. The west coast, though, we've got that rain pushing northwards as we head through daytime. Some heavy falls to watch out for, and perhaps even some rumbles of thunder and flashes of lightning as well. So that's something to watch out for as we go through the daytime there. Down the far southern parts of the country, you can see that heavy rainfall in towards parts of Fiordland and Western. Like I say, in amongst that, some thunderstorms pushing across in towards the higher ground of Canterbury and Otago as well. And you can see that rainfall makes its way across in towards the more central parts as well, out towards the Queenstown Lakes areas and in towards those more inland parts of Otago. Around the coast, generally dry through the morning time, but the afternoon I think we'll find it turns cloudier, and we will have some patchy rain running across as we head in towards the afternoon or evening for the likes of, say, Dunedin, and even up in towards parts of Canterbury later in the night and through in towards the early hours of the morning. Also worth bearing in mind those stronger winds around the coast, especially for the likes of Stewart Island and those more exposed coastal parts of Southland and Clutha. Those winds really picking up from the afternoon on Wednesday through in towards the first part of Thursday. And like I say, gusts perhaps 90 kilometres an hour in the most exposed areas. Over the next few days, we're going to keep an eye out towards the north. So generally things are fairly settled as we go through towards, say, Thursday and Friday. A brief front comes up from the south, and that will bring some rainfall in through the likes of, say, the central parts of the country. Up north, though, this area of low pressure swings across, and it will push more cloud and rain in towards parts of Hawke's Bay and Gisborne. Something to watch out for as we head through in towards the Easter weekend. Definitely an area of concern, just to keep an eye on those rainfall amounts as this low pressure swings closer towards us. The high pressure across the south should keep things fairly settled through most of Good Friday and for Saturday across the South Island. But we have got more fronts waiting to come back across us from the Tasman Sea for the second half of that holiday weekend. But up for the likes of, say, Hawke's Bay and Gisborne, do keep a close eye on the forecasts and update the latest forecast watches and warnings. And you can find all of those at metservice.com.